Before we get into the video, shout out to our sponsors Subside clothing brand. Subside is a new, up-and-coming clothing brand established in Bristol that is looking to add something different with their clean designs that celebrate their roots. You can find the link to all their social medias in the description of this video. From the Terrace Podcast and Subside clothing brand, it's a match made in heaven. Support the boys, support the grind, shop Subside. Hello and welcome to the From the Terrace Podcast and to another edition of Champ Talk. Regan, we're going to get straight into it. There's not many games to talk about. In fact, we have decided to only talk about the one, which was quite a significant one in the Championship, wasn't it? Reading 1, Brentford 3. Your prediction was right, to be fair. One thing that isn't changing, Regan was right in predictions. One thing that is changing is Brentford are now leaders of the Championship. Thoughts, Regan?
Trust me, I don't want to talk about this game because I like the way when you said that, we decided. I didn't decide this. I didn't decide at all. I literally, throughout today, I put Ivan Toney on a web page header on his cover photo, and I've put them in every story I've written pretty much, even the one about Formula One. He's probably in there somewhere. But I mean, yeah, they're just really good, aren't they? They've scored 17 goals in 4 games, and I mean, I thought Reading were going to snatch a win going into the last 10 minutes, and they don't look half bad. But then Ivan Toney just decides to be Ivan Toney. I said that a few weeks ago that he's more than a goal scorer. He's a facilitator. The light's gone off again. It's probably Neil Morpie coming back again. And
It's the ghost of Ivan Toney. It's the ghost.
What's going on?
Yeah, you mentioned Ivan. You mentioned Ivan Toney, and he starts haunting Fulham fans' household.
Oh God, I hate that so much. But yeah, I said Ivan Toney's more than a goal scorer. He's a facilitator as well. And he literally proved me right to every single letter in that sentence. He proved me right there. And yeah, he's going for that goal scoring record. And he might even be going for the assist record as well at this rate because he's doing everything.
Yeah, he is. De Silva got, obviously, Brentford once again came back from behind. They started on the back foot. Reading took the lead with a dubious penalty, but it probably was one. Lucas Shaw scoring, obviously Reading's main danger man. And to be honest, for 60 minutes, 70 minutes, it was mainly Reading pressure, not with too much testing of David Raya, in all honesty. It was mainly Reading dominating the game. Pretty similar to how Brentford dominated Swansea for large spells in that big match. But at the end of the day, Reading never really caused Brentford too many problems other than the penalty. De Silva scored a great goal to equalise. And then from there, it felt like the game was probably going to fizzle out for a draw, but Brentford put on pressure in that final 10 minutes. And like you said, Toney, probably the most impressive thing of the game was Toney's assist for Josh De Silva, the little chest down. It was just perfect, the way he was so calm in the situation that late in the game. De Silva's volleying it in, 2 goals in his return to the side, and obviously Toney finishing it off to make it 3-1. I think the thing we take away from the game really is that even when Brentford don't look like at their fluent best, it seems like the big thing of the season, don't look at their fluent best. Against a team that's one of the most dangerous sides in the division, and ended up winning it again. Like it's a sign of champions, is it not? I mean, are you thinking that this is a championship winning side we're looking at, or do you think there's still a lot more to unfold? Or what are you thinking after that despair?
Well, if you were to ask me, I think Brentford are still doomed for relegation.
Next season though in the Premier League.
Probably, yeah. I mean, you're beating every team. I realise I'm watching all these videos, but I say "I mean" in the beginning of every sentence. So I'm going to try and stop doing that. Okay. So, yeah, Brentford they are the best team in the league, and they prove that by beating every team around them or drawing if you're Norwich, etc. So yeah, they've just been brilliant. And to me, the teams that have gone up first in the past have won the league or top 2, whatever, they get the results they need, like to walk down the bottom of the league and QPRs, etc. But they get those really good performances and they get the results against the better teams as well. And that's exactly what Brentford are doing. And even though I'd hate to admit it, because obviously the whole saying of bees up, Fulham down is probably going to happen this season, which is awful. But I can't really see, the way things are going, I can't see 2 things about it. I think just Brentford are going to get promoted. Stop dancing.
To be honest, I think that is enough said on the game, really. Before we move on, I would just like to say I think Reading are probably the team although I said they didn't really create big opportunities in the game, I'd say this season they're probably the team that's caused Brentford the most problems, in the sense that Brentford couldn't play their game. And Brentford usually are the team who impose themselves on other sides. Brentford couldn't play their game at all for 70 minutes. So I think fair play to Reading, and their high press was really good, which gives me a little worry for Sunday when we're playing another high press inside in Barnsley. But I think Reading definitely probably the team that has stopped Brentford playing the most this season. So fair play to them. We'll move on from Bees up, Fulham down, and we'll get into predictions straight away. Regan, obviously there wasn't much to talk about. That Brentford-Reading game was the only one of significance in the week. So we are going to get into predictions relatively early. What are the scores looking like?
Well, we obviously only have 3 predictions for the midweek games. We both got Rotherham, Cardiff wrong. Obviously, I'm just not backing Rotherham anymore because they let me down once, so I'll never back them again. And I can't back them this weekend because their ground is a bit crap. And you back to draw, and Nick McCarthy's just doing wonders at Cardiff, I guess. And Sheffield Wednesday, I mean, it's not anything surprising that we both backed Sheffield Wednesday to beat Wycombe. And that's exactly what happened. We did say this could be the worst game in Championship history, and even though it was 2-0, wasn't far off. So, but yeah, I mean, that's another one up for me. And I remember I really wanted that double-digit lead halfway through the season. Now I've got double that double-digit lead. I've now got a 20-point lead. So it's 144, 124. And just for all the fans out there, I'm leading the Premier League predictions as well. And I think a few weeks ago the Fantasy League lead was about 40 or so. Bill was leading. Now it's about 7. So I think you could be by the end of this week. I could be leading everything, and I've got to say, I'm not surprised.
Moving on, and the big Friday night game that we'll be watching tonight, obviously when this has been recorded, is Blackburn at Preston. Will you be watching, Regan?
But no.
No. I probably will because I've got no life, but it is a Lancashire derby at Ewood Park. Starting off the predictions, Regan, what are we thinking?
All right, bear with me 1 second. A huge Lancashire derby between 2 teams who need to start putting results to. Okay, no. I did predictions for a website, and basically the moral of the story is if I don't win this after doing research for about 2 hours, I'm a fraud. Yeah, but I'll get on to the actual game, or just off the dome. These 2 teams just aren't really amazing, I guess, at the moment. Especially Preston. Preston are absolutely terrible. I can only remember them beating you 4-2, and then that's pretty much it.
They've let a lot of their main players go in January, didn't they? Because they were set to run out of contract at the end of the season, so they sort of cashed in on them, didn't they? And you're sort of seeing that with results and performances.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you switch like actual good players with sex offenders. But to the game, I can only see if you know, you know. I'm just going to say Blackburn are probably going to edge it, even though they did lose to QPR, but Blackburn is our better team, really. So I'm going to say Blackburn, probably by a 1-0. Wait, no, I don't need to do that. I'm not doing the website.
You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. Win. No, I wouldn't bet on a Blackburn clean sheet either. No, but I'm going to join you for a Blackburn win. It is, it's true. One has Adam Armstrong up front. The other has, well, you've said enough about him up front. So I'm going to go Blackburn too. The early Saturday kickoff, another one featuring on the channel that is Sky Sports. What a monopoly they have on football, and they are lucky enough to be putting Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth on our screens. So what are you saying about that? Obviously Bournemouth won their first game in charge of Woodgate, but unconvincingly. And but they also beat Burnley in midweek in the FA Cup. Forest are going well under Houghton at the moment, though.
They are, yeah. This is actually a really tough team to call. Tough game to call. But I mean, Chris Houghton and Forest are doing well. But when you look at the results that they've done well against Wycombe, you don't really need. I can probably beat Wycombe. Coventry away. Coventry at St Andrews, tough team, but they got 3 points, so credit for them. But then you lost to Barnsley, you got hammered by Swansea, then you lost to Borough, etc. So there's still a few questions I have to ask around Nottingham Forest. Whereas I can't really get that Bournemouth win over Burnley out of my head just yet. I think that this could be the turning point now, because we obviously in our university stuff today, we found out that no contact's been made by Villa, for John Terry, and stuff like that. So maybe they're happy with Woodgate, and if that's the case, then he's obviously doing something right. So I'm gonna back Bournemouth on this one.
Yeah, I get your logic. Obviously, we think Bournemouth are a better team than Forest, and I mean the league position proves it, despite the struggles they've had recently. But you're right, Woodgate has got 2 good results in his first 2 games in charge, but it's a new manager bounce, and although you could argue third game is still a new manager, I think Chris Hughton's got Forest playing really well at the moment, and I fancy them at home. But Bournemouth, another good side. So I don't particularly, although on paper you'd say Bournemouth to win, I don't think particularly it's going to be that easy. And it might not be for any fault of Bournemouth's, but I think Forest are going to make it tough for them, and I'm going to go for a draw in this one. Glenn Murray's probably going to score, let's be honest. He's going to hit some sort of hot streak. He'll probably end up breaking his own record instead of Ivan Toney somehow in half a season. So I'll go for a draw in the game at the City Ground. Birmingham Luton is the next one. Regan and Birmingham. Poor from me. I haven't actually checked after the midweek results, but I believe Birmingham they are in the bottom 3, are they not? They did drop in.
They are. They're not only in the bottom 3; they're actually second from bottom now. I mean, there's 3 teams all on the same amount of points, but Birmingham are officially second bottom.
Well, it's time we start actually considering them relegation candidates now, isn't it?
Yeah, and yet somehow the manager still ain't been sacked. But I suppose if you want to get a good win, you come up against a team that has not been good at all recently. I mean, I think they've won once in probably about 7 or 8 games, which is pretty bad for Luton. I remember like a few months ago they were almost around top half. Now I think they're 15th, 16th, or 17th, something around there, which I'd say has gone rather unnoticed. I don't think we've really picked up on.
No, but I think the reason we don't pick up on it is because, to be honest, 15, 16, 17 is where we expect Luton to be anyway.
Yeah, I suppose so.
They were overachieving, and they're still a team I rate. But we're both not fans of Cranker, obviously, and we gave Neil Harris some stick. We've been quite good at both of us in predictions in terms of manager sackings so far this season. It does feel like Cranker's surely got to be the next one. Is he gonna save himself, though, Regan, in this game?
Well, to quote me on the web page, I said this could well and truly be the final straw for Karanka, because he is hanging on by a thread, and I feel like losing to a team that's struggling as well, it's going to be a final straw, and I think it will be the final straw for him, because I mean you scored 2 against Bournemouth, but you're losing and you're still losing. You can't even score against Wycombe, so you ain't got my vote. So I'm going to go for Luton.
I completely agree, actually. I'm going to go for Luton as well, just because I feel like although Luton are struggling and their away form has been poor this season, Birmingham are just in a rut. And I think, to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if it's getting to the point, although he has got a few names in there that he's tried and trusted before with the likes of George Friend and Adam Clayton. I think those players are surely, that even though that team isn't the best, and maybe it's potentially overrated by some, it still shouldn't be getting relegated, and I think those players are probably going to give up on Karanka. I can't see them really implementing his message, so I'm going to go for Luton, and I think we could be seeing Karanka sacked very soon, like you said. Cardiff, Coventry, Regan. Mick McCarthy's got the Bluebirds flying.
He has, yeah. He's undefeated in his 4 games in charge, albeit 2 draws, but they're 2 solid draws against Barnsley and Millwall. Whereas Coventry, it's another team really where they're up there and they kind of just trailed off in the new year, which we don't really speak about. But that's the same thing we don't speak about Luton, is because we expect them to be around where they are now. But I mean, I can't look past Mick McCarthy here. He's got his team scoring, and he's got his team winning as well, which is the most important thing. I didn't realise I think they're only about 7 or 8 points off the playoffs. I thought they were way down there, but they're starting to creep up there. And with the form that Mick McCarthy can bring to teams, he might even sneak in there. I don't know, but I think there's a good track to go on, and I'm going to have to say Cardiff.
Well, to be honest, it seems like, I mean, if the teams around 5th and 6th, and those teams just doesn't look like any of the teams below want those final 2 playoff places either. You can't put it past him, can you? Mick McCarthy, with his track record in the Championship, he did it with Ipswich. You could potentially do it with Cardiff. I'm not completely convinced, but we'll see in a few weeks' time. And this is definitely another game that you'd expect them to get a win in. So I'm going to say Cardiff win. Derby, Middlesbrough. Derby, obviously, good record under Wayne Rooney, but haven't been as brilliant in the last couple of weeks. They'll want to get back and away from that relegation zone. Meanwhile, Middlesbrough obviously got thumped for 4-1 by Brentford last weekend in their last game. We often say, me and you, that Neil Warnock will not accept 2 bad performances back to back. Can you see that being the same, or are Borough starting to maybe fall away a little bit in terms of playoff contenders?
I mean, you say that he's not letting them play badly back to back. They haven't actually won in 4 games, which I didn't actually realise that. But I think this could be a very important game for Derby because they're obviously on a very good run under Wayne Rooney. But then they got humbled by Rotherham 3-0 to a relegation, if you can call it that, a relegation rival. So it's been interesting how the players respond. I know that Christian Bielik, he's out with an ACL, he's out for the season. And that's a crucial role, I think, especially when you come up against a Neil Warnock team. You need that holding midfielder. And we saw that against Rotherham without him. They really struggled around that midfield. And I'm not sure how they're going to contain Middlesbrough because obviously they've got Balassi, who had a very good game. Cabano, Mendes Lang, as we just found out, he's able to play in this game. So I am going to back Middlesbrough on this one. Yeah, I'm going to back Borough.
I'm going to go for Derby, actually. I'm going to contradict and say that you're right in the importance of this game for Derby. That relegation scrap's getting really interesting down below. And I think that in the big moments, Wayne Rooney will rally his solid. In that game, although obviously Borough losing 4-1 on the weekend is a bit of an anomaly, that is 2 teams that don't like to concede many goals, and I think it's perfectly set up for a Wayne Rooney 1-0. I think I am going to go for Derby in that game. Borough not convinced me in recent weeks and looked like they had a perfect opportunity to get into those playoff places, which I thought they might actually do. I said that a few weeks back, and they've let themselves down, really. So I'm going to back Derby. That one, Huddersfield, Wycombe. Huddersfield, a team who we said have been overachieving all season, been constantly surprising us. But they've plummeted Regan, and you never know. My prediction of them going down could still happen. But I mean, you'd fancy them to win against Wycombe, wouldn't you?
I mean, I don't think it's going to be as bad as your prediction. Huddersfield are going to finish rock bottom because we know that who is going to finish rock bottom is the team they're playing against now. I mean, I can't back Wycombe at all. I'm sorry, they're absolutely terrible, and I think even probably the worst out of form team in the league could go against Wycombe and get a result. And plus, I do tend to back Huddersfield at the John Smith, so I'll continue to do so. Huddersfield.
Back Huddersfield as well. Simple as that. You said it. I don't need to. Norwich City, Stoke, Regan, and 2 teams out of form. In honesty, although in different positions in the league, 2 teams very so much out of form. Teemu Pukki's been back for a few weeks now and is not scoring goals. Norwich City aren't scoring goals. They haven't scored, I believe, in their last. They didn't score against Millwall, didn't score against Borough, didn't score against Swan. They haven't scored in their last 3. Maybe 4. Oh yeah, 4 if you include Barnsley in the FA Cup. They're about scoring goals. I'm still seeing Norwich fans with the belief in Teemu Pukki. Personally, I think they should switch it up and give the young Adam Ider a go. Teemu Pukki is no longer, I'm going to put it out there, I'll clip this up, Teemu Pukki is no longer one of the best strikers in the Championship. He is a player who hasn't really scored many goals throughout his career. He did in obviously that 18-19 season. They romped home. He did well in the Premier League to start with. But Teemu Pukki's not been scoring consistent goals for a long time. I think Jordan Hugill was doing well, but then obviously he was unlucky enough to get injured. And you're still going to have to back Norwich on this one. I'm just about to back them because of how poor Stoke have been and the return of Emi Buendia. But things are looking worrying for Norwich. We were saying 6 weeks ago we think they're going to walk this league. I'm not even entirely convinced they're going to finish in the top 2 anymore. But this one, Stoke have been so poor recently. I've got to back a Norwich win, but it's not going to be an easy one. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I echo everything you've said there, apart from maybe the Pukki parts that don't include me if it goes viral. Yeah, I think that Emi Buendia's inclusion against a team that's struggling like Stoke, I feel it's only going to be good things. And I hope for Norwich's sake that they can start to regain some momentum again. And to be honest, I know we talk about Norwich, etc., but Stoke are still 9th, which is a bit confusing because obviously I talk about them every week for some certain reason. But I thought they'd be all the way down about 14th or 15th. But obviously the spirit of
love affair of Tyrese Campbell is the weirdest thing ever. Like it's the
I'm not going to show you my lock screen because he might be on it. But Tyrese Campbell and no, I'm not talking about him now. Oh, you've got him in my head. Stoke are ninth, but I mean, I don't think it's going to be a really close game. I think Emi Buendia are just going to inspire Norwich to a win. So yeah, everything you said's true. Norwich.
Everything I've said is true. Regan doesn't say that too often. At the Medeski now, we have Reading versus Millwall. Are Reading going to bounce back, Regan, from that defeat against Brentford? It certainly wasn't a poor performance.
No, it wasn't a bad performance, but I don't know why, but I think like one of the shock results this season somehow is Millwall absolutely thrashing Sheffield Wednesday. I don't remember the last time Millwall even scored 4 goals in a game.
No.
And I mean, yeah, it's a really somehow it's kind of a tough one to call because I mean Gary Rowett. I remember I said along with Neil Harris he could have been one to be sacked, and now they've gone back to their old ways of they're literally not letting anyone have a shot, and they're not having a shot, so they're just playing for 0-0s, which is exactly what they've got in like their past 4 games, apart from the Wednesday one. But yeah, like you said, Reading did do pretty well against Brentford, and they deserve something out of that. So I'm going to have to say Reading in this one.
Going to join you on Reading. Unfortunately, we are agreeing on quite a lot, but Millwall just no. Just no. Just no. Millwall, you have disappointed me this season. We know that. We've covered that before. Watford, Bristol City. Bristol City are really struggling, Regan, and they've been struggling for a while anyway. Now it felt like they'd finally got their squad back together. They've got quite a big squad, we know, as Bristol City. Finally felt like they've got some pieces back to that squad, and then they've been hit with injury again. Chris Martin expected to be out for the rest of the season. Alfie Mawson as well with another ligament injury. Watford haven't been good though. Watford haven't been convincing recently. Do you think this is sort of a perfect game for Watford to get back on track?
Yeah, exactly. It's similar to what it was. It was Birmingham. It was something like that, where you want to find a bit of form and regain a bit of form, and it's come at the right time. You're playing against these teams because Bristol City are on a 4-game losing streak, if you include the Sheffield United loss in the cup. And I think Watford just need to find just need to find themselves again, because I remember a few weeks ago, which was probably one of my best predictions this season. I said it'll be interesting when Watford under this new manager will start to slip up and find results. If they can get them back, then that's a top 2 contending team. And if not, then they guess have to settle for playoffs. And it looks like, well, since they drew that first game, I think they've drawn another or something and then lost and something like that. I know they lost QPR, which is embarrassing. So I think this is a good time to come up against Bristol City, and I think they'll make the most of that. So I'm going to say Watford are going to win.
Okay, Watford, I completely agree. Bristol City look poor at the moment. They don't really look like they have any ideas. They look like they ran out of them. They're having to shift players all over the pitch. Mariappa's had to play left back a lot, and I'm sorry, he is not a left back. I think they should go down a different route. The young guy played in midweek. Towler made his debut. Bristol City young lad. Look, I think he probably is the better option to go with in the league for their future, because Mariappa cannot play left back. The poor bloke, he's lost his legs. It's not really his fault. But yeah, Bristol City look like a team who are running out of ideas and sort of just trying to make do of what they have at the moment. So I'm going to back Watford. It'll probably be 1-0 Troy Deeney penalty. They won't do it convincingly, but they'll do it. And Regan, obviously, we're missing out on the 2 postponed games so far. The only 2 postponed ones in the Championship weekend, with Rotherham, QPR, and Sheffield Wednesday. Swansea not playing this weekend. So the final game is Brentford versus Barnsley on Sunday. Obviously, Brentford beating Reading in midweek, and Barnsley just losing to 1-0 to Chelsea in the FA Cup yesterday. So do you think the tired legs potentially of Barnsley could have any impact on how this game's going to go, or is it not your decision at all?
Well, first of all, I think everything you said about Mariappa's wrong, because he is in our underrated 11, so he's obviously a brilliant player.
No. It's nothing against him in terms of Mariappa. His legs are gone. He's quite an older bloke now. It's not. Yeah. He's still got all the quality. But you should not be shipping him out at left back. I feel sorry for him. Poor bloke.
that is very true.
It's ridiculous.
But we'll talk about the elephant in the irrelevant in the room, I guess you can say, instead of elephant. I mean, can I say anything else? I suppose
top league, so we are.
I suppose I can't really say anything else. You're 21 games unbeaten. You scored 17 in your last 4 games. And full credit to Barnsley. I mean, to be fair, maybe they should have got a result against Chelsea because at the end of the day, they were the better team. And I know what you're doing, so I'm just going to look down here and look at my dog actually while he's sleeping. I think that it's going to be a very tough match. Definitely similar to the Reading match. So I don't know, but I suppose I'm gonna have to back the form here, which is unfortunate because I think if it could be a draw. Stop. I'm gonna have to say Brentford are probably gonna win, and if I had to say score, which I said here, I'm gonna say 2-1. But it's gonna be a game that Brentford dominate. But I think it's going to be maybe a 1-goal scoreline, even though the score about 8.
If you're listening on audio channels, Regan did that whole prediction while looking away from camera. He is said it through gritted teeth. Let's say that he knows the bees are going up. No, we won't say that yet. We won't say that. We said that last year, and what happened? I think Barnsley are a good test for Brentford in terms of the high press. Reading did that very well and stopped Brentford playing, but we also see that Brentford are so good at keeping the ball and so relentless and so good even if they do go behind. But you can press for those first 30, 45 minutes, but eventually you're going to get tired, especially seeing as Barnsley have had 1 day less rest and they've played a big game in FA Cup against Chelsea. I think this is one of those ones where it might prove difficult to start with. The first half an hour, Brentford will eventually become through, and I can see this being a relatively comfortable Brentford win in the end. So we'll be 22 unbeaten, or here's hoping, fingers crossed. So yeah, I'm going to finish off the predictions with a Brentford win against Barnsley. And Regan, that is the predictions over and done with.
Can I just say that I think it would be absolutely hysterical for the team that basically ended Brentford's top 2 hopes last season would be the team to end their unbeaten run. Wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't that be funny?
I've seen like the memes on Twitter and everything. It's like people like, oh, Brentford 21 games unbeaten. Next game Barnsley at home, and it's like Vietnam flashbacks and stuff, and it's like PTSD. It certainly does feel like that. I feel like it is worrying. It is worrying. Maybe a psychological battle for Brentford to get over in this one. But yeah, that is the predictions over and done with, and that is this episode of Champ Talk done with. Slightly shorter one than usual, I believe, but that was because of the reduced game week in midweek. Anyway, Regan, if they have enjoyed, what have they got to do? They've got to like the video, subscribe to the From the Terrace podcast YouTube channel, leave us a rating on iTunes, follow us on Spotify. Me, Regan, and Max the dog will see you in the next Champ Talk. Max absolutely hates